It's about our people in another country who may be experiencing some,
Hajj
unhappy moments on a pilgrimage.
Sweetheart, you've been in this country for how many years? Every year. If you've not been documenting before, start documenting from now. Every year there have been Hajj issues. She says her government made the trip so expensive so they could attend to some of these issues. 2023, 2022, 2021. Go and look just go to Google and do a simple search. You will find the issues. There have always been complaints about living standards, about living conditions, even about it. Look, even in 2023, we had people stranded at the airport. All those complaints have been there in the news. It is not peculiar to 2025.
So make it better.
Yes, exactly.
It's
just because there have been a few issues doesn't mean it's not better than the previous. If I charge you less and I give you less problems, no one's saying the situation is perfect. Of course, eventually the Hajj board is working towards ensuring that it's a smooth trip and a smooth process for as many Muslims as possible who want to embark on the journey. No one is saying it will be perfect, but they are working and doing their best. But when you want to make it a political issue and put the lens on the NDC as cheapening the process and giving them problems, it's not the truth.
Okay.
Yes.
Tabitha?
So I think Nwang misquoted me concerning the movement of the when I mentioned the northern region or northern part of Ghana and the mass transit that we used to experience. I never said when they come here, they round them up and then they buzz them like they are doing here. I never said so. I only said some of them will come here and the experiences they get is normally not something that is good. The experiences are not normally very good. Some of these women are being raped because they don't have places to stay. Okay, some of these women are being exploited. They are either underpaid or, they make them overwork what they are supposed to do. And these women and children who will normally come here, some of them are subjected to all manner of, mistreatment from people. I was only trying to relate it, and I'm saying that no human being has to experience that. Okay? And that women and children are even the ones that are suffering most. Look at the people that were being rounded up. A lot of them are women and children. And so you misquoting me and telling me that I said they used to do same to the northern. No, I never said so.
Okay.
I only said...
So we've settled that.
Yes, we've settled that. And then Hajj, no one is trying to create a very beautiful... No, it hasn't always been like this. We always have to reference. Somewhere last year, I remember a lot of people came out with this misinformation that Hajj was not treating the pilgrims very well. And it was rather false. The truth was that people decided not to use Hajj and go for the Hajj. They rather decided to go to other or neighboring countries. So what to go to Saudi
during the administration
those that we as in the
during your party's administration, were there no problems on the Hajj pilgrimage? None at all.
I can tell you for a fact
that there were no problems.
That the problems were being solved
there were
progressively.
Problems.
So as at 2024,
so there were problems.
There were no problems.
So if there were no problems, what is being solved?
That was because they had almost perfected the Hajj pilgrimage, and people didn't have problems.
Perfected?
Yes, almost. And I'm telling you this, you can always check. They went there with their own medical team. They went there with their own people that will lead prayers. They went there, and people were staying in expensive hotels.
You know what?
People were being fed very well.
I think this whole Hajj conversation, we can have a separate one on.
I have a better understanding of what happened last year. And so you come in and doing propaganda with Hajj, telling the people that you can make it cheaper and better for them, only for you to make it cheaper but not better for the people. The people are complaining. Let your government send their lenses there and also look at the kind of conditions the people are subjected to. I think
because
that
Hajj is not
good.
The focus of the conversation. Let's agree that we will disagree on this.
Yes, but I would like that you also do a little this thing on that one for the people.
want us to remain on the immigration situation for a little bit. These people on the streets did not just come yesterday. They did not just come 4 months ago, 5 months ago.
Yeah.
They did not come 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Consistently, throughout the course of our international relations, we've had these engagements with other nationals, and the problem has always persisted. How do they enter the country? And how are we making sure that we seal those loopholes so that we protect the borders? Nwong, do you care to share some thoughts on that? Historically, we've had this problem.
Like you said, yes, there's been a lot of inflow from different countries over time. It is a problem that immigration has to work on, because it means that our borders are not as secure as they should be. Because if you have these people coming in from neighboring countries, there are some of them that are being rounded up. They can't speak English. They can't speak any local language. So how are they even interacting on a normal day within the country?
Is trying to speak to some of the people who have been rounded up on the bus, and
they have no idea. They don't know what you are saying to them.
I'm told that most of them perhaps speak Hausa. I'm not too familiar.
Some speak Hausa, some speak French. They don't speak English. And because they are not local, they don't speak any local languages. When I was in Legon, I wrote a thesis on the migrant patterns. One of the places I visited a lot, I don't want to mention the locations I visited, but I visited several places. And there were times you would run into someone who does not speak any language. So it was very difficult engaging and getting the right information. Some of them are beggars who migrate from country to country. There are beggars who go from different countries just begging. There are people that begging is their, literally a career for them. And once they have exhausted a certain location, they move to the next location and on and on and on. They grab these children who you cannot even trace their parents. And some of these children are actually trafficked out of their countries and forced to help them beg. They use them in their trade illegally. These are all children that should be rescued. This particular exercise is something I believe should be done more often, not just on our roads, but around at our borders. There should be reinforcement.
How can we deal with the security threat and also, add a humane touch to it, so that, like Tabitha is saying, these are women and children, no matter their nationality. So, these are also people that must be accorded some dignity, even if their circumstances do not offer.
I think there's already a human. There's a completely, they are being treated gently. Nobody is treating them in a bad way. They have been accorded full respect. Look at the places where they even live. They themselves are living in squalor. The immigration officers have done nothing wrong to them. Nobody has been hurt. Nobody has been beaten. Nothing has happened to anyone. They are treating them with dignity until they can even establish that you are actually living illegally. If they pick you up from the streets and you show them your documentation, they'll leave you alone.
Okay. Tabitha, I'll bring you in on this, but we are getting some new developments on our screens now. I want us to listen to what's happening, and then we'll be back to continue the conversation. At dawn today, the Ghana Immigration Service started a mass evacuation exercise, rounding up illegal migrants on the streets of Accra. It has happened at the Obeche-Bilamte Circle, Zongo Junction, and also in parts of Nima. And our team are on the ground. Our teams are on the ground, boots on the ground, ensuring that we capture every detail of this developing story. This is Obeche-Bilamte Circle, but like I said, we have teams in other locations, and we'll hear what they've been picking up on the grounds for us now.
So also be a account man. One will be a account mama men small. So also be a account. So also be a account man. One will be a account mama men small. So also be a account. So also be a account man. One will be a account mama men small. So also be a account.
We saw the scenes at Obechebi Lamte, and we cut to this one that you just saw on your screens now of what appears to be a group of children, Nuong and Tabitha. And this is what some of the concerns are, that people are exploiting some of these situations for personal gain. And these are the kind of things that need to be, you know, nipped in the bud. So we're seeing what appears to be a certain woman who appears, and this is just from watching the video and listening to what is happening around them, taking some monies from these children whom presumably have been on the streets and have knocked on people's cars and peered into the vehicles and pleaded that, you know, with hunger and say we need food to eat, and benevolent members of the society have given some coins and notes to them to buy something, only for them to come and make sales, as we say in Ghana, to their madam at the end of the day, who perhaps this is a business venture. And these are some of the concerns. Tabitha, I'll let you speak first, and then
yes,
we'll get on with the conversation.
It's actually a cartel, you know. It's not a trade that is not well coordinated. It's well coordinated, and you have people behind the scenes who are doing this. I can tell you for a fact that this woman is not a boss. She too, she goes to somebody to render an account. It's a well taught and well coordinated trade that they do in Ghana here. And so I think they shouldn't just end it at, you know, taking the people and sending them back home. No, they should try their best to look for the, you know, the brain behind all this thing that is happening, and to solve that issue. Another thing we are not seeing, or probably we are also ignoring, is most of their men, when they come here, they engage in scrap. I don't know if people have actually observed that. They engage in scrap trade. And, you know, at times when they look for the scraps and they don't get, what they do is that they go into people's houses and pick their items. There was a story of a woman who washed her cooking ware and, you know, laid them out there to dry. She came back from market and they had taken them away.
She brought her cooking utensils outside to dry.
Yes, you know those who cook, the big, what do they call it? Pots. Yes, she washed and displayed them out there to dry.
And the people came in.
Yeah, and they came and made away.
We're getting
from
this.
That. Okay, you finish. But you see, the road, those signs on the road, you know, at times you go there, you don't get them. They pick them up, you know.
But I think that sometimes there are even Ghanaian nationals who are involved. But I get the point you're making.
They are all part.
There's lots of petty and major crimes being committed by some of these illegal immigrants. Some, yes, are just trying to make an honest living for themselves, but others are taking advantage of the system to engage in what would be unacceptable behavior. So just to bring to your attention, a statement has been issued by the Ghana Immigration Service confirming an ongoing operation which commenced in the early hours of Friday, May 16, 2025, aimed at addressing the presence of undocumented migrants on the streets of Accra and other cities. The statement says, we are currently assessing the outcomes of the operation and will provide further details to the public in due course. It's signed by M. Amwakwata, who is Assistant Commissioner of Immigration, Head of Public Affairs of the Ghana Immigration Service. So this is information that we are just getting now from the Immigration Service. So this is the confirmation of what we have seen since dawn today, a roundup of illegal migrants. To tell us more about this and what it means, we'll go to our phone lines and engage Professor Vincent Ajali-Mensah, who is an international relations analyst, and he will share some perspectives with us. Prof, thank you for making time to join us on GTV Breakfast. I'm sure this has come to your attention. What are your thoughts on this development?
Thank you very much. And I want to say that there are different ways to look at this measure. In the first place, to the immigration service, how did these people arrive in Ghana? Did they pass through our borders? What did the immigration service do? What checks do they conduct? What protocols are in place to identify how these people get to Ghana? And what are the deficits in those protocols? So the immigration service has fundamental questions to answer. And then they have fundamental reviews and organizational protocols to look at. So that is an internal thing to the immigration service. Second, the step they are taking, as important as it is, has implications for Ghana and the coordination we have with our colleagues, other sister countries in the region. Yes, the ECOWAS protocol provides for free movement of goods and services, and that brings us to the next question. If people can come here freely, under what conditions do they come? What protection mechanisms are there to take care of issues such as children being trafficked and how our child trafficking laws enforced? So these are also important questions to look at. But the exercise itself, if you come to the exercise itself, there are special measures and guidelines and principles related to how this can be done in terms of the planning, in terms of the processes involved and all that. And I'm sure that they will follow those processes. But I like the important point that your panelist, my colleague has made on the show, comment that was made about what these people do when they come to this country. Now, some of these people become children, very little children that are brought. They become, I don't know how to describe it, on the streets, and they pester everybody. And they themselves are exposed to a lot of harm. And the elderly ones, like you said, they under the pretext of being scrap dealers looking for things, they have become a national security risk to the country. They go to people's homes. They don't just take anything. They take air conditioning. They take everything, anything they see that has metal. They are cutting our electricity lines. They are taking even metals that you put on the road on gutters. They have become a serious disaster to us. But the question is, how do you deal with it as an immigration service? There are important things that the immigration service has to do at this point to ensure that Ghana as a country doesn't have an image of just bundling people and repatriating them to their countries of origin, because that can have serious international relations concerns. It can have serious security concerns for the country, because other countries can respond in ways that, if we are not careful, we may not be able to understand and deal with the consequences. So, for me, it's a good exercise. It will sanitize society. It will bring some sense of decorum. And the important thing to look for is who are involved in this, and who are the people who support the whole thing by supporting state agencies that fail to do their work, Ghanaian nationals that have become people who are hosting these people, either in their homes, they have rented out to the people, or are participating in the process by being the people covering up for some of these things. We need to go deeper and identify those things. There are for some people, this is a business, and those people need to be identified and dealt with. Otherwise, we will continue to be doing this in a circus, kind of, and we will not come to an end of it.
So we have a number of issues there, the implications and what it means for our relationships with those around us, other countries around us, the security implications, where these foreign nationals, or some of them, engage in all manner of vices. So it's a number of issues we're trying to deal with. Maintaining a calm international presence and a hospitable room for all persons to live, and also protecting citizens from these vices. Over the years, it appears that we've had challenges because the people are still on the streets. What can we do, or what should we do going forward to ensure that this time, with this approach, we will make some headway and not come here a year or 2 years down the line to do this exact same thing all over again?
There is a conversation that needs to be had at the level, intergovernmental level, at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. That's number one. At ECOWAS, conversations about how do we move people up and down. The second thing is enforcement. That's why I said the beginning point of all this is to ask the immigration service how all these people enter here in the first place. What were the meticulous measures that were implemented at the point of entry at our borders to know who is entering, the purpose of entry, and where the person will be resident. These are questions that immigration service need to check. If you went to anywhere, you are coming back to Ghana, even as a citizen, you are asked questions. So if the person is entering the country as a non-Ghanaian, there are basic questions to find out. What are you coming to do in Ghana? Where will you be living? What is your means of survival? These three questions, if even the immigration service will take these three questions serious, I am sure that we will not be where we are. Then when the people enter, what monitoring mechanisms do we have in place to know if they have gone to the places they are supposed to be and are doing the things they say they are coming to do in this country? This is something that I think the media needs to zoom in on the immigration service as hard questions they need to answer. Why we have all these things? That is the second one. So the third one is the responsibility we all have as citizens to identify these people and to give information that is necessary. The fourth level is in implementation and law enforcement. That there are organizations that exist, there are state agencies that exist, including the police service and the immigration service itself, that when citizens volunteer information about the activities of people like this, there should be proper investigation, and the investigation findings should be followed through and implemented, that we can be assured that if you become a whistleblower and you give out information, this information will be used. But if people are not sure that the information they give will be used, I think that, as you said, we will go around. It may not even get up to 1 year. Within 6 months, we will return to where we are and have the same conversation. So it is important that we recognize the beginning and the center and the end of this is with the immigration service itself. They require a certain introspection, organizational introspection, organizational review, organizational effectiveness conversation. And then the Ministry of Foreign Affairs needs to have that conversation. If these two things are done and we link it up with the other ones, we'll get to where we want to be.
Right, Prof.
Otherwise, see, there is a serious national security risk in the offing.
Okay, perhaps my last one to you. What, from your experience, would be the next step? We are waiting for Ghana Immigration Service, after they issued this statement confirming the exercise, to come with some further updates. But what would likely happen now that these persons have been rounded up? We are told they're being sent to the Immigration Service headquarters. What is likely to happen from now after this exercise?
A number of things are likely to happen, and I think that huge risk to us. In the first place, money is being involved in doing this exercise. In the second place, as I said, there are international protocols that we have to follow. You have to provide safety nets for those people as you are hosting them. Number 3, then they have to hold them under our immigration laws. And there are implications. You can hold them permanently or you can hold them temporarily. Then the next thing is, if you have to deport them, where are you taking them to? You have to identify their nations of origin, and you have to inform the embassies in the country. And how they receive that is another question. So then when you have to repatriate them, do you give them to the embassies to repatriate, or Ghana has to do it? But the consequence is that, and what I fear, which I pray doesn't happen, you know, we have the history of how Ghanaians were chased out of Nigeria some time ago. It was just a misinterpretation of something similar like this that Ghana did in those days, which led to that kind of Ghanaians in Nigeria. So for me, it's the consequences that I fear and I dare. So very careful discussions need to be had to ensure that this process doesn't backfire on the nation. That is the thing that we all have to worry about. So I think that is something we should all take interest in and ensure that the process unfolds in such a way that we can have peace with our neighbors. But finally, one of the options they have, depending on those that with criminality, they will be dealt with through the law. But those that are innocent victims, sometimes victims of the situation, we have either a responsibility to keep them, provide them safety nets, and then integrate them into society. And they become people who live here, or we take them back. Whichever option we take, there are risks. And that's why prevention should have been the watchword.
Thank you, Prof, for sharing these thoughts with us. International Relations Analyst Professor Vincent Ajali-Mensah has shared his thoughts on this immigration service exercise, which got underway today. We understand that it also happened around areas in Sakaman, Ritz Junction, the Shangri-La Spanner area, Medina Junction also saw some of these things happen. Adenta, the Atomic area, Ponglo. We also have Jowulu, Achimota, La Paz, Kwashiman, Awoshi, Nima Junction, Paloma Circle, around the industrial area. We also understand some happened in Kasua, Weja. Of course, we've been to the Obechebi Lamte Circle, Adabraka and Oblogo have also seen some of these raids. So Ghana Immigration Service on this roll, rounding up illegal migrants. So the streets of Accra are busy. Mind you also that the AMA boss, the CEO of the Accra Metropolitan Assembly, is also on a drive to decongest Accra, taking traders off the pavements. Remember, yesterday the GPRTU dropped hints that it will embark on a nationwide strike on Monday if the city authorities fail to decongest the pavements of traders. The traders were not too happy with that directive. So lots happening in Accra with decongestion, not just with the migrants. Ladies, these are topical stories, and I'm sure that you have some thoughts to share about them. But the big one on the health front is the 2 confirmed cases of Embarks in Accra, which has prompted a nationwide alert to intensify disease surveillance. And we'll get to our phone lines and speak to the Ghana Health Service and try and get some details. But what we know is that the Ghana Health Service has directed all health facilities to activate their public health emergency operation centers and also to initiate risk communication and case management protocols. We've heard the Director General of the Ghana Health Service in the statement talking about advising health facilities to liaise with the Ghana Infectious Diseases Center for further guidance and support. And all of us are being called upon to be vigilant and to make sure that we report to the hospital if we have any symptoms. Mpox is a contagious viral disease, and it's caused by the monkeypox virus, which is part of the same family of viruses as smallpox. So that's information that you need to know. A health alert, Ghana Health Service leading this drive, ensuring that everybody is kept safe. So it's a big story that we have this morning. Ghana Health Service officials will speak to us, time allowing, on this matter. The other big story is that the Bank of Ghana has clarified issues concerning the withdrawal of foreign currency from your account. So following from everything that happened this week, Nuon's good friend Sammy Jemfi and his gift cash to the evangelist Nana Agrada, and the fallout from that, the BOG yesterday issued a formal notice reaffirming that customers can still make over-the-counter cash withdrawals in foreign currency from their bank accounts, and they just want to clarify. So you can still go and access your dollar account and take money and comply by the same rules that were applicable before the start of the week, when this whole situation about the dollar gift situation started. The minority had quite a bit to say about the Sammy Jemfi situation. Yes, it has petitioned, Shraj has been petitioned, the police CID has also been petitioned to look into the matter. Tabitha, what exactly do you want to be done? What's the outcome you're looking for with this?
Oh, sorry, can you take that again?
What do you want? The minority is saying that Shraj should investigate. It's also asking the police CID to also get involved in this investigation. Now BOG says the rules that they had on how to get access to your dollar account, the money you can take from there up to the limit of $10,000 is still applicable and nothing has changed. But you want some changes to be made. What are you asking for?
Yes, so, you know, the whole situation has to do with the fact that the Ghana city needs to be respected at the end of the day. I think what Sammy Jemfi did is actually one of the things that we were thinking the president will crack the whip, but he disappointed Ghanaians, because we know that there was a time that we had the issue of Vicky, and Vicky unfortunately was hacked out. I don't know, she was sacked, dismissed, even though there was no crime committed. But you have somebody like Sammy Jemfi, who was, you know, spreading cash, especially with a currency that is not our currency, which we all know the laws frown upon that you So is it the fact that it was dollars or the fact that it was money in general? Because no, it was. I remember a video of somebody from your camp, who is alleged to have given money to somebody in the lead up to an election. You know, wrong is wrong. It doesn't need to be from your place or not from your place. When you see wrong, call it out and let people know what it is. Look, Sammy Jemfi has been given a very sensitive position in this country, and I think we are not really paying attention to that. The gold that he has been made the manager of Gold Board is a very big and sensitive position. Now, we are all aware that he was given an allocation, an amount of money to do gold, you know, to trade gold on our behalf. And this money that Sammy Jemfi was given, I can tell you for a fact. Is there evidence that he's used some of your expression, I'm not saying that. I'm only saying that as a gift to somebody? Is there evidence? I'm not saying that. I never said that. I'm only saying that with the position he has been given and the money that they have entrusted in him, and so far the trade that he has done, we have to ask ourselves questions that, is he matured enough to handle or to occupy the position they have given him? So you're not, now you're questioning his suitability for the role and not the dollar gift, because no, you see, it's a lot. It's not only about the fact that it is the dollar. I'm also talking about the fact that the position he has also been given is a very sensitive position, and I was thinking that, you know, his immaturity has come to bear for us to see. We are only praying that he shouldn't keep hiding, because this one that came out for us to see, where was he going with those monies in his car? Private individuals are allowed to carry. In fact, he's not a private individual. I mean, anybody is allowed if you have access to it. If you have a dollar account, you're allowed. So the Bank of Ghana, here is some of the things that the bank wanted to clarify in the midst of all the stuff that's happened with the viral video involving Sammy Jemfi. So the BOG says over-the-counter withdrawals
can still be made. Over-the-counter cash withdrawals in foreign currency from foreign exchange accounts and foreign currency accounts can still be made. The BOG says for those without the foreign purchases for travel, forex for, you can also get money, so you can go and change it because you are traveling. But when you are going let's bring some education to the people. The Bank of Ghana says if you are traveling and you need foreign currency, there's nothing that stops you from making sure that you get up to 10,000 US to facilitate that travel. It said that there's no new restrictions being imposed on how you access your dollar accounts. So which of these do you think is being breached here?
Okay, so does it mean that it is no longer a crime to, you know, give out money in the form of foreign currencies, like how he gave it out?
Is it a crime to give somebody money in foreign currency?
So far, from what I'm gathering, it is a crime. You know, you cannot transact business in foreign currency in Ghana as it stands.
But we know the reality of that, don't we?
No, but you see,
it's not
that is what I'm telling you.
Something that happened from January.
Good, but, you know, it is a crime to do that. The fact that nobody has been prosecuted doesn't mean that it is not a crime. We all do make mistakes, okay? And it is not all the time that we are being caught or being held to account for it. But here's a clear example of somebody who has been held, like, who was busted. Let me put it that way. Well, if the presidency think that it is no crime and that they have pardoned him, I cannot question them. But all I want people to understand is that we gave Sammy Gyamfi a lot of money to trade on our behalf. And the money that Sammy Gyamfi was given is more than the money they gave to the Agric Ministry. It's more than the money they gave to the ministry that he is under. And so if we give you this amount of money and you go out there gifting people $10,000.
I have a question on the gifting. So yes. Transacting business, is that the same as giving a gift? Because that's what I want to understand. So this was something he was giving to somebody. If someone walks in here and says, oh, no, Thelma, I hear you're doing A, B, and C. Here's $1,000 to keep you happy. That's a crime?
It is a crime, from what I'm gathering. And apart from that, I heard even if you take such gifts, you are supposed to pay something to government.
Gift tax.
Yes.
Gift tax is a whole other conversation.
Yes. So that is,
wrap it up for me.
Okay. So that is why I was saying that we need to pay a close attention to Sammy Gyamfi, because we don't know where he was going with those monies in his car, and I can tell you for a fact that the money was plenty.
Were you there?
No, but we saw that there was a bag in there.
You saw a bag?
Yes.
Anything could have been in that bag. Are we just assuming that that bag was full of money? Because unless,
so you see,
unless there's a video
you can assume that
looked into the bag, or unless there was a view into...
I can equally assume that there is more. That is why I said...
I am not assuming. You are assuming.
I am assuming. And you may also be assuming, because
I am not assuming. I'm listening to you.
Do you know the content of the bag?
I wasn't there, so we are only basing it on what the video...
Yes, I'm assuming that probably...
No, I'm ending it at what I saw on the video. I'm not inferring any more.
Yeah, but I can go ahead.
If you want to.
Yes, that is why I'm doing so. And so, look, let us pay close attention. The NDC shouldn't think that we are going to close our eyes to whatever they are going to do. It's not going to happen.
Okay.
I had my sister trying to admonish me that we are trying to, no.
She hasn't said anything on this matter. So let's give her the opportunity to also respond, because you had a say. Nwong, so Bank of Ghana says that you have access to your dollar account. None of the previous rules have changed, and there are no new restrictions. But the concern, especially after the Accra, following the video going viral, has been well made. Does the BOG's position change anything in the grand scheme of things on the conversation on the NDC side?
I just want to say, I beg, no one should accuse me. I'm an innocent young woman. Moving forward, I just want to correct that. She mentioned a few times that Sammy Gyamfi has been given money to trade gold on our behalf. Sammy Gyamfi has not been given any money by government. It is Gold Board that has been budgeted. It's an institution It's not an individual. It's not, Sammy Jenfi does not own the office. And when there's a budget allocation to the office, it doesn't go to his person, it goes to the institution. Now, that institution has been involved in so much work. That is part of the successes it has chalked, is helping to show up the value of the Ghana cedi. And you can see clearly the impact it has had in the last few months. Today, the Ghana cedi is trading at what? 12.52 something to the dollar. An unprecedented drop in foreign exchange, an unprecedented appreciation of the cedi. I saw a news item about a week ago about the cedi being the best performing currency in the last few months. The administration of John Dramani Mahama has put in so much work to improve the lives of Ghanaians, and you can see it clearly. Some of the gold exports we had, let me show you, in April alone, $897 million worth of exports of gold. It has been increasing. If you check in January, it was 506 million. Increased successfully. That's a far cry from what we had in 2024, 2023, and all those years. Part of these successes are because we have been able to crowd out illegal exports of gold. Now, government is in charge, and it's having a direct impact on the cedi. If you look at the petitions that have been made by the MPP, they've petitioned what? Shraj.
Police.
They've petitioned Ghana Police. They've petitioned another institution. Who would they petition next? The Pope. At this rate, I won't be surprised if we wake up tomorrow and the MPP has petitioned the Pope to come and investigate Sammy Jenfi because of 800 cedis that he gave, $800.
Are we still saying it was 800?
That's what the lady said. Did you watch the video?
I watched the video.
The lady who
of
received
counting
it. No, she has a video where she says $800 no me return it. $800 na Sammy Jenfi mami
did we see the video where she was counting what appears to be more than $800?
Was it? I have no idea. The horse's own mouth. You and I were not there. The person who received
I'm just basing it on the video alone.
Yes. Me, the person who received it, from the video, I couldn't tell exactly how much. Could you tell exactly how much?
Let's play a certain game. So when Sammy put his hand in the bag and then he brought out the money and counted. So quick counting will tell you how many notes he counted and handed over.
5, 6.
The assumption is if there was, assuming that there was the same number of notes in his other hand which the lady collected, would that and that other handful of cash amount to 800?
So you are saying the lady is lying?
I'm suggesting to you that the video may be interpreted to
it can be interpreted in many ways. Listen,
that it was more than $800.
They even told us it was $10,000 before all these videos came out. Remember, they were showing us videos that were recorded last year, pulling videos from all sorts of places before the real facts came out.
Okay, we'll need to wrap this up.
There is a deliberate agenda to foment the situation and make it bigger than it is. The gentleman in question understands the sensibilities of Ghanaians, and he has come out to say, if Ghanaians are disappointed and hurt by my actions, I'm sorry. He has apologized. We've never seen that from appointees before in this country. Can you point at one situation where there were allegations or accusations and an appointee came out in the last 8 years to come and say, Ghana 4, I am sorry. We've never seen that before.
The minority has asked Shraj to intervene. They've asked the police and the Office of the Special Prosecutor to also weigh in. Of course, the private citizens petition, which was made by Mr. Eric Dumenu Akachi to Shraj, has been withdrawn. He cited some personal safety concerns. He said he received threats. And
maybe
so
he wants to edit the letter because
the presidency has said that it has accepted the apology, like Noong is saying, but the NPP says it is important that due process and ethical governance mechanisms are followed. I know that, ladies, you have a lot more to say, but this immigration story that broke today really has taken a lot of our time. So perhaps the next time we sit, we'll have the opportunity to speak again. We've run out of time, Tabitha. I'm so sorry.
Closing remarks.
Closing remarks. Let's do
what we need to let our viewers know is that our team is still on the ground with the immigration story, and we've been granted access into a holding area for where the brothers and sisters from the other countries are being kept. And when we have that feed ready, we will connect you back to the immigration service for those live updates. So since we've all said closing remarks and we are nice people, Tabitha, 1 minute to you and then 1 minute to Noah.
So you see, I was happy to hear my sister say that the gold is helping the city. This is a point that, at times I think we should give Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia his flowers. Because, during COVID, he shared an information with us. That was when the idea of gold for oil came. That was when we realized that we needed to back our city up with gold. And he introduced that. Look, let me tell you, before we started building the gold, gold reserve of Ghana,
we've run out of time.
Okay.
So
in the midst of all that,
Tabitha says flowers to Dr. Bawumia because the gold is helping us.
Which flowers?
What say you?
Yeah, it's his idea.
You have your time. A minute to
let me say something.
Nobody can take that.
We had gold for oil and the dollar was still increasing. You and I were here. It went as high as 17, almost 80 cities. I just want to mention this morning, if you go to some institutions, if you go to some shops, they are doing CDs Apiki promotion. Do you understand? The city has appreciated so much, the dollar has gone down so much that home appliances are being sold cheaper than they were sold before. This is evidence of the good work that is going on. Yes. I just want to end by saying, JM, why you be doing?
Oh boy, doctor.
JM,
Is Dr. who introduced God for
Noah Falong is a member of the communications team for the NDC, and Tabitha Ayila is a member of the communications team for the NPP. Ladies, thank you for sharing your thoughts with us this morning. I know that you would have to go, and then I will continue with this conversation. Thank you. See you again next week. Here is information for you. We will be joined on our phone lines by Dr. Owusua Eshianote, and she'll be talking about this matter regarding the immigration service exercise that is currently happening. Doc, thank you for making time to join us on GTV Breakfast. What's your perspective on what has happened so far? We spoke to an analyst earlier who said this has implications on more than just diplomatic relations, but also on security as well. What are your thoughts?
Thank you very much for having me. Yes. So I just also had the information from your team. Seriously, I haven't seen anything on that. I'll be watching the media this morning. So I think this is not the first time this is happening. Yes, this has been happening like annually. Ministry of Gender has been doing that in collaboration with migration, has been doing that for some time now. And I don't know whether it is planned because it mostly happened within around May and June. So 2002. When I was on the field, like I studied with migrants, Nigerian migrants. Around June 2002, they sent them these exercises was on 6 place 2 years ago. But I don't know if they paid me last year. I did not monitor whether they sent them back last year. Of course, for security implications, seriously, these migrants, when we talk about security, I don't think they are a threat to me from my perspective. These migrant beggars on our streets, those begging to me are not the threat. So the question is, who allows them to even enter Ghana in the first place? So if these aged children, sometimes disabled people, because these type of people who come to beg, all have these cards as a result of being able to seem like, very fragile for people to be able to give. So when you talk about they being security threats, they are not the threat. So the threat will be our porous borders that allow anybody to enter. So if it's about threats, I don't think these projects are any security threats from my point of view. They are not the threat.
Okay.
So if they are looking for any security threat implication about these beggars on the street, it is not them. So if they find their way in, if others can also find their way in. So
Doc, as part of your work as a postdoc fellow on forced displacement project at the Center for Migration Studies,
yes.
what have we done to make sure that, and I've asked this question earlier this morning, it does not become a repetition of what we've done in the past, but this actually gets us some results? Because the border situation, perhaps questions to be answered there, the implications on security, yes. But what have we done, and what would make this particular evacuation exercise different from perhaps ones that may happen down the line in the future?
All right, so we should ask this big question. What are the drivers? What are the things that are driving these people from the Sahel, where they are coming from, to Ghana? You understand? So we know certainly that, of course, the place is highly insecure, high insecurity in the area, the conflict and all that, these things and these political instability in that area is also a key driver. And also, one major thing that we also found is, of course, the environment, the climate change. So people are losing their livelihoods in these rural areas in the West. You understand? So, seriously, during my interview, we found that they either stay there during the dry season to perish, or they migrate to find something to do elsewhere. So, in fact, Ghana is not only the place that they've been coming. They go to, all the neighboring countries. They are in abundance in Nigeria, Cote d'Ivoire, they go up north, Libya, and all that. You understand? So it's about the drivers. What can we do about climate issues? Okay? And what are the strategies that we're using to really let them adapt? Adaptation strategy we're using. You understand? So, those ones we cannot help them. It is the people in that region that will really have to go further to help them sustain their livelihood, even during periods of maybe drought or famine and all that. You understand? So it's all about the drivers. But we stopping them from coming, it's about border management. And even without the border management, there are a whole lot of avenues that these people use to come to to Ghana. So stopping this, I don't think we can really stop it now. Because last year they did it, they sent them back, and they come in their numbers every year. So it means that it becomes something that we should try to manage. But trying to stop it, I think it will be problematic. And even with this ECOWAS protocol movement of persons and groups, we cannot stop living people.
I think we should book a date with you, certainly, so we have a sit down on the broader implications of this and what this situation presents, because beyond just rounding up undocumented migrants, there are international norms and human rights issues involved. Of course, you've mentioned ECOWAS protocols and the implications on our relations with our neighbors. So a seat will be here at our table for you so that we can get some more details from your experience and from your work as a fellow at the Center for Migration Studies. Doc, thank you for sharing a part of your morning with us this morning. Dr. Owusua Eshia-Norte is a postdoc fellow on forced displacement projects at the Center for Migration Studies at Legon. So this is still a developing story, and it started at dawn today when the Ghana Immigration Service started a roundup of undocumented migrants across several sections of Accra. We've seen scenes in Accra, areas, Sakaman and others. We are at the Immigration Service headquarters, where some more details will be kept. When that is ready, we'll bring that to you. Keep watching GTV Breakfast. We'll bring you some more after this break.
Ready! The Obonu Mega Cash Lucky Box brings big wins. Dial *426*4# on all networks. Follow the prompt, pick your lucky box and win instant cash. It's that simple. Dial *426*4# on all networks or play on our web portal gbcghanaonline.com and win up to 500,000 Ghana cedis. Remember to follow prompt, play now and win big with Obonu Mega Cash Lucky Box. A minimum of 5 Ghana cedis to play. Your lucky box awaits. The Obonu Mega Cash Lucky Box. *426*4#. Win big and win large. Terms and conditions apply. It's annually approved on the Caritas Lottery platform.
Middle, Ghana Biana. I'm going to fight you about this one. Every time I just say, baby, shit. Mangashi.
Junior!
I'm saying so enough for maybe the no.
Sister Coast Pa. Ain't you winning gas?
I'm using the why. My wife.
Down Yankana wa.
Ah, Sister Coast. Use gas. Gas ye fast, ye easy, ye convenient. And wow.
Let me see your hand.
Bills mama official po. Afisa said na sika bebre abamo